Our last lining piece is the sleeve. And the sleeve, you always want to make sure to do your manipulations for your lining on your full sleeve sloper. And then if you decide to do a two-piece sleeve, after you make your manipulations, you can go in and do what we did in our first exercise in learning the two-piece sleeve. So what we're going to see here is a slight adjustment in the cape line of the pattern. So because, like all sleeve alterations, because these points come out, we need to take a little bit off the top to maintain the length of the head to fit into that armhole. And then we're going to now make adjustments to the bottom of the pattern. So we're going to start at the bottom here. What you're going to do is to take your pattern, and we need to make a reflection for our hem allowance. So what you're going to do is to fold it up at the two corner points. And then take your ruler and follow your seam line and make them really dark so that when you turn them back over, you'll be able to see them. Okay, but you're going to follow your seam line down. And what you're doing here as you open it up is you're creating a reflection. So now I can see what I've done. I'm just going to put in my guideline here. So I've now reflected this shape. And again, if I kept going, it would be too narrow. So if I kept extending this way and then I tried to fold it up, I wouldn't have enough to fill at the height of the depth of my hem. So this way, this is a reflection. I hope you learned this particularly in pant legs. This is really very important when you're hemming pants. But this creates a reflection. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my hem allowance like I did with the bottom, and this time the hem allowance for the sleeve is 1 inch. So I'm going to add a half. And again, it's a half at half scale. I'm going to straighten this out because it's not a tapered sleeve. It is just a straight hanging sleeve. So I'm going to straighten this out. Now it's going to be my hemline. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now move to the top of the sleeve. And I'm going to extend 2 points, my 2 armhole points out 1/4 inch at full scale. So I'm going to come out 1/8 of an inch at half scale. Roll a dot here, and on this side, roll a dot here. So now I've come out. I also want to come up 1/2 inch like I did with my armhole. So again, at 1/4 of an inch. At half scale. Again, that's 1/2 inch at full scale. And don't forget, if you need to make notes. Now because I've taken out, at full scale, I've taken out 1/2 inch here, right? I took 1/4 here and 1/4 here. In order to maintain my curve of my cap, I need to take some off the top. So I'm going to trim 1/2 inch at full scale. So this will be 1/4 of an inch at half scale. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blend my raised corner. I'm going to do this by hand very lightly and then go in. Want to keep it blended, catch it as close as you can. So you want to include, I probably should get a little bit more in through here. So this is my new cap. This is the new shape. And what I'll do when I'm done is I'm going to walk this with my armhole to make sure that it fits. And now what I can go ahead do is to go ahead and to add my side seams. I'm not going to taper here like I did with the bodice. I'm going to follow the shape of this sleeve, although a jacket sleeve probably wouldn't take this much of a turn. And I'm going to stop at my hemline. I'm now going to connect these 2 points. I'm getting rid of this curve because, again, the sloper we're working with is really a dress sleeve. You would have a jacket sleeve where this curve disappears because the jacket sits so much, does not sit close to the body, sits away from the body. So now what I want to do is to notch 1 inch at full scale, so 1/2 inch at half scale up from the old hemline. So I'm going to come up. Notches are everything, and I'm going to go over that when we really get into drafting. And that notch is going to be the fold line. For your hem. So what's happening here is the fold line. This is actually your cut finished edge, so there's your allowance in there that goes over your hem. So your hem will fold up and your lining will fold to meet it. Again, I'm going to maybe have you add a little bit more just because it's your first time through, and I don't want you to run out of fabric. But that is your sleeve. That's pretty easy to do, and that completes the lining for the jackets. Don't forget the notches, which will match up to the notch of your bodice, front and back, and the torso rather. And that's it.